Honda call to the pen, Miles Michaelis. With the bases loaded, facing Darwin Barney. 6-4 San Diego.
And like a lot of the Padres pitchers, Len, big strikeout totals, also big walk totals.
He allowed an inherited runner to score in the 7th inning on Monday. When an inning and a third, 2 hits, was not charged with a run, had a strikeout. That gets through, and Castro has to hold up. Randy Wells on the left, Michael Bowden on the right. The kick and the 1-0 pitch. Missed again. 2-0. Yeah, this is the kind of inning, Bob, that Cubs president of baseball operations Theo Epstein has talked about really since the day he took this job. Grinding at bats, really making that opposing pitcher work. Cubs have done that here in the 5th. That one missed badly. 3-0.
It has such an effect on the ball game. Obviously, some momentum for the Cubs here in this inning with their patience at the plate, but also you get that defense back on their heels. The Padre defenders standing out there watching pitch after pitch after pitch out of the strike zone. And eventually, when that ball is put into play, it increases the chances of an error or a misplay.
Only taking all the way and a strike. Crowd getting up on its feet for a walk too. That's good.
A high strike that time from Michaelis, right at the top of the zone at 92.
Ball 4 over his head. 6-5.
You don't often see a manager playing matchups in the 5th inning of a ball game, but that's exactly what Bud Black's going to do. He's going to bring in a lefty to face Steve Clevenger.
So Alex Henshaw will come in with the bases loaded. Can't make any puns with Michaelis leaving, unfortunately. 6-5 Padres.
So let me get this straight. You're telling me that this car is just as reliable as a Honda Accord next door?
Well, pretty much. It has a super long warranty.
That's not the same thing.
Sure it is. If anything breaks, you can rely on the warranty. So it's reliable.
So it's the warranty that's reliable, not necessarily the car.
Were you this tough on the Honda dealer? I feel like you aren't.
Get an Accord with 0.9% financing for up to 60 months through May 31st. Only a Honda is a Honda.
Rum from Captain Morgan.
If you can hold your nachos with one hand, you can be a hero with the other. Because your nachos are wrapped inside Taco Bell's new 99-cent beefy nacho burrito.
Every weeknight, only one show covers Chicago sports the right way. Join host David Kaplan in a nightly roundtable. Chicago Tribune Live, presented by Captain Morgan. Every weeknight on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Steve Clevenger coming back from the DL is kind of like Carlos Quentin for the Padres, our Xfinity high-speed action. 2 at-bats, 2 hits, 2 RBIs. It's a Honda call to the pen. Left-hander Alex Hinshaw gave up the game-winning homer to Alfonso Soriano on Monday. Comes in to face a lefty here with the bases loaded, and Soriano representing the tying run at third.
Hinshaw actually came into that ball game to face Brian LaHare to start the 6th inning, gave up a base hit to him, and then promptly served up the 2-run bomb to Soriano.
Single and 4 walks in the inning. 2 with the bases loaded. A 1-2 count to Clevenger.
Only the 3rd at bat of the season for Clevenger against a left-handed pitcher. 0 for 2 against lefties. He was 11 for 20 against right-handed pitching coming into play today. We'll beef that up a little bit.
13 for 22 against righties. Slowly hit ground ball to second. Arista will get him. But the Cubs are back within 1. After the Padres got 2 in the top of the inning, they answer with 2, 6-5.
One of the best things about State Farm is our accessibility.
Oh, yeah?
You can call us 24/7, get quotes online, start a claim with our smartphone app. You name it, we're here, anytime, anywhere, any way you want it.
That's the way I need it.
Any way you want it.
All night?
All night.
Every night?
Any way you want it.
That's the way I need it. We just had ourselves a little journey moment there.
Yep.
Saw him in 83 in Fresno. Place was crawling with chicks. I gotta go.
Any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it.
Hey, buddy. Where's your new bike?
Huh?
Your bike.
I traded it.
You traded it? For what? Honey?
Helpful steps for parents can help. Take the first step today at BMO Harris Bank.
When your Chicago baseball team scores 10 runs, text TACO to 29653 or email Taco Bell at ComcastSportsNet.com. Be among the first 10 entries and you'll get 10 Taco Bell bucks. When they score 10, you score 10 with Taco Bell and Comcast Sportsnet.
Well, you mentioned it earlier. Look at the wind on Monday. Going straight out to center out of the southwest. And today, coming straight in out of the northeast. That's Wrigley Field in a nutshell. Well, this game now will be decided by the bullpens. Casey Coleman needed 3 pitches to get the final 2 outs of the top of the 5th. Now facing Alexi Amarista. 0 for 2 in the game today. Brought up from AAA on May 17th. He was acquired in a deal involving right-hander Ernesto Frieri going to the Angels on May 3rd. So Amarista going from the Angels to the Padres. 2-1. Luke Gregerson is up. Ground ball backhanded by Brian LaHare. He feeds Coleman on the bag for the out. Let's answer today's AT&T Mobility Trivia question. Which Padre collected his 3,000th career hit on the final day of the 2001 season? Ricky Henderson. Against the Colorado Rockies.
Has Ricky officially retired yet?
I don't know if that's the case. Oh, 2 on Hinshaw, who's not getting cheated. Sometimes when you use your hat as a glove, that could be a problem. Called strike 3.
It's a tough fix. You might have to hit the old souvenir shop.
Go to the Cubs online shop at Cubs.com. Will Venable. Ball 1. Fly ball to right and a base hit. Jesus with a rare misjudgment out there. Might be the first one he's had here at Wrigley. He went back and then that ball landed in front of him.
He got fooled by the swing of Will Venable. Looked like a power stroke that time. The ball came off the bat. Looked like it possibly was headed for the bleachers, but Venable didn't get all of it, and then the wind knocked it down on top of it. DeJesus ends up playing it cautiously, and it drops for a single. Those mishit balls will fool a lot of outfielders when the batter either hits it off the very end of the bat or down near the trademark, but yet takes a full swing. Well, you can judge it on as the swing, and if you can hear the sound of the ball on the bat, that will help you get a better jump at times. But that one completely fooled David DeJesus in right. For Venable stealing this season, it's been a 50-50 proposition. Stolen 5 bases, been caught 5 times.
One and one on Cabrera. Coleman with a very quick pick move to first for a righty. White Sox did hold on and beat the Rays 4-3. An 8-game winning streak now for the White Sox. Dale Sveum said before the game he recently texted Robin Ventura. He's been watching a fair amount of their games in his downtime. White Sox are 12-13 at home and 17-9 on the road. 1-1 pitch, pulled foul. 1-2.
With Cabrera behind in the count here, you would expect Venable to be trying to steal a base here. If the Cubs are able to throw him out at second base, they got a speedy runner leading off the next inning in Cabrera.
And there he goes. And he went on a breaking ball that Clevenger just couldn't handle. Third steal for the Padres today.
I think I'm off. Turn the heater on.
It's cold.
I'm telling you, 2 days ago our eyeballs were sweating up here in the booth, and got 2 jackets on today and about to turn the heater on.
Called strike 3. Venable stranded at second. Cubs trail by 1 as they'll bat in the bottom of the 6th.
An accident doesn't have to slow you down. With better car replacement, available only with Liberty Mutual Auto Insurance. If your car's totaled, we give you the money for a car 1 model year newer. Visit a local Chicago office for details. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy?
Monday. Enjoy the sights and sounds on Comcast Sportsnet.
Brian LaHare and the Cubs take the field for a midday meeting with the Giants in San Fran. Cubs, Giants, Monday at 2 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Patrick Mini. Patrick Mini.
0 down payment, 0 first payment, 0 security deposit. Right now at Patrick Mini, we're letting it ride in a new 2012 Mini Cooper hardtop for $249 a month, sign and drive. With 3 years, 36,000-mile, no-cost maintenance. Mini Coopers, $249 a month, sign and drive. Plus, only Patrick Mini has complimentary pickup and return for our customers.
Patrick Mini. Patrick Mini.
Only at Patrick Mini.
8-time 8-division world champion, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, with his welterweight title on the line against one of the most dangerous opponents of his career, the undefeated light welterweight world champion, Timothy Desert Storm Bradley.
Manny Pacquiao gets all the headlines. Well, how's this headline? Bradley knocks out Pacquiao. Watch it happen live Saturday, June 9th on DirecTV pay-per-view.
Coming up after Postgame Live, it's part 1 of Inside Look, Ernie Banks, presented by Cadillac. Mr. Cub relives some of the great moments in his storied career, plus the Hall of Famer returns to the batter's box. All that and more only on Inside Look, Ernie Banks after Postgame Live on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Jeff Baker will pinch hit for Coleman, who went an inning and 2/3, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts, no runs. Swing and a miss.
It's 5 consecutive scoreless outings for Casey Coleman on a pretty nice roll out of that Cubs bullpen. A lot of jobs up for grabs down there right now. Casey Coleman throwing a lot of strikes.
Bounced up there. 2-1. Two and two. Cubs have not led today. Padres led 2-0. Cubs tied it. Padres then got 2 more on a Carlos Quentin homer in the 3rd. And haven't trailed since. He would later hit another 2-run homer to make it 6-3. Cubs closed the gap with 2 in the 5th on bases loaded walks. 1 away. Baker strikes out. No.
Slider down and in. Like Baker's head came off just a little bit there at the very tail end of that swing. We saw a couple of hacks earlier in the ball game by Steve Clevenger where his head tracked the ball all the way to contact with the bat.
Ball 1 low.
I think that's what hitters and hitting coaches are talking about more than anything else when they say he's not seeing the ball well. Sometimes they means you're not seeing it well right out of the pitcher's hands, but for the most part it means you're not tracking it all the way into the hitting area. Now, because of the velocity of the pitch, you're not going to be able to track every one all the way to the point of contact. The longer you keep your head on that ball, the better chance you have of making solid contact.
Marista throws out De Jesus. 2 quick outs.
I was in the midst of an offensive funk for the better part of 8 years. A hitting coach told me one time, it looks like you're picking the seat in left field where you want the ball to land. And by that he was just insinuating that I wasn't tracking the ball all the way into the hitting zone. Head was flying off toward left field as the ball was getting into that happy zone. When Hinshaw throws his fastball inside to a righty, it's got a little bit of cutting action. We saw him throw that same pitch he just delivered to Starlin Castro. He threw one to Jeff Baker to get back into the count, and Nick Hundley pushing it off the plate just a little bit there.
Two and one to Castro. 2 outs, nobody on in the 6th. Pulled that one into the home dugout.
Slider this time from Hinshaw that just continues to work further and further in. Castro hit it the only place he could, into his own dugout.
Chopper to third. It's fair. Henley gets it. Take us into the 7th. Still 6-5 Padres. Carlos Marmol coming in.
Looking through a lens of gold, only with my naked eye.
Refresh your home this spring with Lowe's Creative Ideas magazine. Inspiration on every page. Now available free for iPad on the App Store. Lowe's, never stop improving.
Out here, nothing says summer like Leinenkugel's Summer Shandy.
If you need a refresher, a shandy is beer with a little something extra.
Summer Shandy adds a little natural lemonade flavor to our Leinie's goodness.
It's crisp, super refreshing. My favorite beer. America's friendliest craft brewer is bringing in the season. I'm Jake.
I'm Dick. I'm John.
And we're Leinenkugel's.
Leinenkugel's!
So join us. We're working on the next great shandy out here.
Mine was earned off Vietnam in 1968.
Over the South Pacific in 1943. I got mine in Iraq 2003.
USAA auto insurance is often handed down from generation to generation because it offers a superior level of protection and because USAA's commitment to serve the military, veterans, and their families is without equal. Begin your legacy. Get an auto insurance quote. USAA. We know what it means to serve.
Time now for a Coors Light freeze, Cam. The Padres were trying to tack on in the 3rd inning. Chase Headley thrown out by Darwin Barney.
Too bad you can't freeze real action like that, and as a catcher just stand up and tag the guy and then let him run on by.
Carlos Marmol with his first appearance since coming off the disabled list. Got a strained hamstring. And ball 1 to Alonso. Marmol's first appearance since May 11th. Popped into left, and a backpedaling Alfonso Soriano makes a catch. Hey Bob, we want to give a shout out to the AA Tennessee Smokies. They're currently taking batting practice, getting set to take on Huntsville today, and they've got our game up on the board. Watching the big league Cubs.
About time for the Smokies to get red hot.
Nick Struck got the win last night. 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 9 strikeouts to improve to 5-5.
I think the Smokies are playing the AA affiliate of the Milwaukee Brewers, so you might as well get used to whooping on some Brewer butt while you're down there, because you're going to do it when you get up here.
.3-0 to Quentin, who has homered in his last 2 trips to the plate. Ball 4.
Really?
He's throwing hard. Fastball up in the mid to upper 90s. Here comes Headley. One strike on the switch hitting third baseman. Milt Pappas coming up with the Captain Morgan 7th inning stretch. Outside, a ball and a strike. Slider for a strike. Well, according to our gun, Marmol's pretty strong today with the fastball 95-96 and the slider in the mid-80s. 3-2. Carlos trying to regain his closer form. And just coming off the DL. 3-2 pitch fouled off. Using his fastball quite a bit. He's walked back-to-back Padres. Bring up Denorfia, who has homered, doubled, and flied out to the warning track and left. Jesus moving to his left. Makes a catch. Everybody holds.
That's another thing you have to like about David DeJesus. He doesn't assume anything out there in the outfield. Make the catch, get the ball back into the infield quickly. Don't wait and see if the runner's going to try to tag in advance and then try to throw it all the way in the air to third base. Catch it, get rid of it quickly, and hold that runner at second base.
Fastball for a strike to Hundley. Slider way out of the zone. 0-2. He couldn't help himself. Swing and a miss to end the inning. Time for the Captain Morgan 7th inning stretch.
Ball game. Former Cubs great Milt Pappas.
Hey, here's to the greatest fans in baseball. You Cub fans. I love you. Gary, you ready? A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root for the. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 1. Strikes you're out at the old ball game. Let's get some runs, you great fans. Thank you.
The 7th inning stretch is brought to you by Captain Morgan. Raise your glass always in moderation.
Spice rum from Captain Morgan.
I'm Philippe Kahn, and I created the camera phone.
I'm Ray Kurzweil.
I gave your words a voice.
I created the ability to share video.
We turned your smartphone into a musical genius.
And I turned it into a bank.
I created Instagram.
We created Words with Friends.
And we created a better way to buy a smartphone. Any phone, any carrier, and all of their plans.
Get a $50 Best Buy gift card when you buy the HTC Evo 4G LTE and get unlimited data only on the Sprint network at Best Buy.
Cubs trail by a run as we get into the bottom of the 7th, and always great to have with us as you see Luke Gregerson from Park Ridge on to pitch for the Padres. It's always great to have Milt Pappas with us, 209 game winner through the no-hitter in 1972, and the Cubs had a long drought before Carlos Zambrano did it in 2008 against the Astros in Milwaukee. Milt, good to see you.
Thank you.
You brought your
Thank
jacket.
you, Bob.
Very smart man.
Well, I still have the last one pitch at Wrigley Field, so I still have that distinction too.
And the Cubs in 1965 had a perfect game pitched against them by Sandy Koufax. They have not been no-hit since.
That's amazing too. Well, of course, this ballpark isn't conducive for no-hitters either. But yeah, the Cubs have had some tough times, and hopefully for that whole division's been a little on the rough side. So if the Cubs can put their stuff together, man, you could literally run away with that division if you got that close.
Well, the Cardinals got off to a good start. They've come back to earth. The Reds have been hot lately. Milwaukee off to a slow start.
Interesting game. You just never know. Bobby and Len, from day to day, you just go out there and play and hope for the best. Give it your best shot. And Garza was funny when I saw him at the Cub when the big auction they had, about a month ago, and he comes up to me. He kept saying, "I'm going to do it. I'm going to be the guy that's going to pitch the next no-hitter in Wrigley Field. I'm going to do it." And I said, "Mr. Garza, you have to remember one thing." He said, "What's that?" "Got to pitch 9 innings."
That's right. There's no question Matt Garza has the kind of stuff that on a given night he'd be able to go out there and deal. He's done it before.
The guy that I feel sorry for is Dempster. My God, I love that guy. And it's been what, 18? I heard somebody said 18 starts
without a win. Yeah.
Oh, that's just unbelievable. I love the guy. He's a great guy. He's a darn good pitcher. Today, unfortunately, everything was up that he was pitching today.
Just didn't have his good control today.
Didn't. And that's a nice day to pitch too, compared to what we had 2 or 3 days ago. But yeah, that's the game. You got your ups and downs. I felt very fortunate to do what I did, winning 200 games, and I'll never forget that. And pitching here in Wrigley Field with these great fans, I just loved it. And, so I come out here every now and then. I'm still working for Prime Source, building products, and doing the best I can. And at the age of 73, I'm still working. People say, "You should have retired." And I said, "Hey, wrong era." Wrong era.
One strike on Brian LaHare. Milt, talk about your all-star experience. 65 you started, right?
Yes, I started in Minnesota. And actually, I hurt my shoulder warming up. And the first guy up was Willie Mays. He hit a home run off me. And then Joe Torre hit a 2-runner off of me. So I was only in there for 1 inning. But I did pitch in 2 other all-star games. In 62, we had 2 games that year. One in JFK and here at Wrigley Field. So I closed out both of those. I don't mean that derogatorily. I pitched the 9th inning. But yeah, I was in 3 all-star games. The only thing I'm lacking is a World Series ring and getting into a World Series. The closest I came was with the Braves in '69, and then the Miracle Mets were there that year, and they beat the heck out of everybody.
2 strikeouts for Gregerson.
Yeah, both coming on sliders. Now, when a pitcher comes into the game, Milt, we always describe, okay, this guy's a fastball slider pitcher, and he'll throw changeups, in hitters counts. How would you describe yourself as a pitcher? What was your go-to pitch?
My go-to pitch, believe it or not, was a fastball.
Just a fastball, yeah.
I had 2 types, Bob. I had one that rose. One I would turn a little bit over. It was a sink. I don't know what they call that today.
Just sinker, that works.
Sinker. Yeah. And my slider was fantastic because it only broke like 8 feet in front of home plate. So, the guys thought it would be a fastball. By the time they went out after it broke, it only broke maybe about, 7 or 8, 9 inches, but that's all I needed. And changeup, I just couldn't get it down pat. So I feel, like I said, I was lucky to get by with just the stuff I had. And in the era that I played in, you know, facing guys like Clemente and Mays and, you know, Aaron. And it's just, to me, that's the golden era of baseball. It's such a different game today. But, you know, you got to go with what you got.
1-1. How about for you when they lowered the mound? I mean, that had to be a huge adjustment for every pitcher.
You know, believe it or not, when I got in the game, Len and Bob, you know, each park could do what they wanted with the mound. When you had like you go to the Dodgers, you had fastball, curveball, you had Drysdale, you had Koufax, the mound was high. You go into another stadium where the guys are breaking ball pitchers, the mound is low. And also Dodger Stadium, they turned the field in because they had all those jackrabbits, Maury Wills, and these guys here, if they bunted the ball, never go foul. So the commissioner finally said, no, guys, let's put the field down level, you know, and they made the mounds, you know, all the same everywhere. So it became a much better game at that point.
There's a 3-1 to Soriano just outside. Gregerson wanted it, didn't get it, and the Cubs have a tying run on base now.
Is that Fleming behind the plate?
Let's see where Pitch Tracks had it. Didn't have Pitch Tracks in 1972.
Oh, no.
Yeah, just off the outside corner there.
Pitch Track, oh my Lord. No. Yeah, we were lucky to get a called strike.
It's like the Padres are going to make a change here with the left-handed hitting. Ian Stewart coming up, so it's a Honda call to the pen. Milt, thanks for stopping by as always. Great
Lenny,
to see you, sir.
My pleasure, my friend, anytime. Bob,
good to see you, Milt.
Good seeing you, my friend. Take
we'll
care.
Be back.
And my best to your boy.
Thank you.
Well. Growing up, we didn't have U-verse. We couldn't record 4 shows at the same time. In my day, you're lucky if you could record 2 shows. And a mom was recording her dumb show, and dad was recording his dumb show then. By George, that's all we watched. And we liked it. Today's kids got it so good.
Get U-verse TV for $29 a month for 6 months with a total home DVR included. AT&T.
Yeah, I'm married. Doesn't matter. You do that for me? Really? Yeah, I'd like that.
Who are you talking to?
It's Jake from State Farm. Sounds like a really good deal.
Jake from State Farm at 3 in the morning? Who is this?
It's Jake from State Farm.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Khakis.
She sounds hideous.
Well, she's a guy, so.
Another reason more people stay with State Farm. Get to a better state.
Trophies and awards lift you up, but they can also hold you back, unless you ask, what's next? This is the next level of performance, the next level of innovation, the next RX, the all-new F-Sport. This is the pursuit of perfection.
Honda called to the pen. Left-hander Joe Thatcher. He's been good all around, but you see what lefties have done or have not done against him as he faces Ian Stewart with Soriano at first. Soriano leaning there. Not so sure he was going to run. I just think he didn't know Thatcher was going to throw to first. There's the fireballing Andrew Kashner. Cubs have taken 6 walks today, 1 off their season high. You see why Thatcher's good against lefties.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. A little cross the body action, very low 3/4, nearly a sidearm delivery.
He's made 6 appearances already in which he's faced 1 guy. I guess you call him a loogie, right? Left-handed 1-out guy. Lefty 1-out guy, however you want to put it. Way outside.
Well, and if he doesn't get his 1 guy right here, chances are he's out of this ball game with Andrew Cashner warming in the bullpen. And
be a lobgy.
Yeah.
Left-hander 1-batter guy. He gets his man as he strikes out Ian Stewart. 3 strikeouts in the inning. We go to the 8th. 6-5 San Diego.
Whoa, Megan Landry alert. And she's looking directly at your new Lumia. Thank you, AT&T. First, why don't you show her the curved edge? Now, move on to the slick navigation tiles. Bam, right into the people hub. See, Megan? Colin has lots of friends.
Hey, Colin, what kind of phone is that?
What? Oh, Megan, when did you get here? Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, let's do it.
Introducing the beautifully different Nokia Lumia 900, only from AT&T. Rethink possible.
A car is either luxury or it isn't. If you want a luxury car with a standard power moonroof, your options are going to be limited. If you want standard leather-trimmed seats, you're going to have even fewer. And if you want standard keyless access, then your choice is obvious. The Lexus ES. It's complete luxury in a class full of compromises. See your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer.
Join Menards this week in saluting our American-made products with Menards Made in the USA sale. Give your home a fresh new look with Citation Carpet. Made in Dalton, Georgia, Arrowhead indoor-outdoor carpet is fade and stain resistant. In 3 colors, just 49 cents a square foot. Mansfield Toilets offer style and performance. Made in Perrysville, Ohio, the ProFit round front high efficiency model has everything you need all in 1 box. Only $99.
Save big money at Menards.
Baseball season is in full swing, and so is the WGN Radio Cubs Corner, sponsored by Wintrust Community Banks. The next Cubs Corner is Tuesday, June 12th at Wildfire in downtown Chicago. Join Brian LaHare and Tony Campana for a live WGN radio broadcast and enjoy a great 3-course lunch, all for just $55. Tickets are available now by calling Wildfire at 312-787-9000 or visiting Cubs.com.
Here's Randy Wells. Going to keep the Padres at 6. Amarista, the second baseman, is nothing out of 3. Andy Perino is on deck to hit for Thatcher. Sinker for a strike. Wells got the win on Monday in relief. 2-2 the count. Swing and a miss on a changeup.
Really good changeup from Randy Wells on our BMO Harris pitch tracks. You see that late movement. Ball started down near the knees. By the time Amarista gets the bat into the hitting zone, the ball's down below the knees with some movement and way off speed. Good pitch.
It will not be Perino. Instead, Jesus Guzman. Two at bats as a pinch hitter in this series for Guzman. And he has struck out both times.
He was 5 for 10 as a pinch hitter coming into this series. Now 5 for 12. He's driven in 5 off the bench for Bud Black.
Good slider, 1-1. And the 2-1. Castro gets him.
Well, you know, Len, we've talked a lot about Starlin Castro and how it's a work in progress and how hard he's worked on his defense. Watch as he uses his feet to get his body into a good position there. So when he picks up the ball, his momentum is going toward first base. Quickly picks up his target. Good solid throw to first base. I'll tell you, he's worked extremely hard to become a technically good fielding shortstop. He's a physically good fielding shortstop because of his instincts and his tools. That he wants to be one of the best. He's worked extremely hard every day to get better with his footwork.
Well, as a shortstop, you've got to make the routine plays. You have to, because you're going to see the ball more than anybody else on defense, aside from the catcher. And he has been a lot more consistent, as you say.
And I think a part of it is his focus and concentration also. I mean, we've talked a lot about the shifts that Dale Sveum likes to use. He's going to put his shortstop in positions where he's going to get more balls hit his direction. And I think Starlin is concentrating a lot more on defense now.
Randy Wells with a 1-2-3-8. Giving this offense an opportunity, trailing by just a run.
It's an event so big, we couldn't keep it all inside. Nissan's National Tent Event is back with 500 holiday bonus cash on top of existing offers. Now, get a $179 lease on Altima or a $209 lease on Rogue. Visit ChooseNissan.com. Test drive at your local Nissan dealer. Hurry, when the tents come down, these deals will end.
More people are leaving BMW, Mercedes, and Lexus for Audi than ever before. For exceptional values on the Audi A4, visit your local dealer today.
The 390 horsepower Ram 1500 Express. With 20-inch wheels, 20 miles per gallon, and a 5-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. It says a lot about you in a deep Hemi Rumble sort of way. Now, well-qualified customers can purchase Ram 1500 Express Quad Cab 4x4 for $329 a month. Ram.
Hi, everyone. Gail Fisher with the Sportsnet Central Update. The White Sox won their 8th straight game, beating the Rays 4-3 in Tampa this afternoon. Nate Jones got the win in relief. He came in to pitch after starter Jose Quintana was ejected in the 4th inning for throwing a pitch behind Ben Zobrist. Todd Hollinsworth joins me after the final out for Cubs postgame live. But now let's send it back to Len and Bob at the friendly confines.
Gail, thank you. Andrew Kashner facing his former team for the second consecutive day. Gave up a run in an inning of work yesterday. We had him clocked at 102 on one of his fastballs. He's growing out the beard just to look a little older. Baby-faced assassin.
Yeah.
Andrew Kashner.
The day will come, Andrew. You don't want to look older. You just do. Talking to him about what we mentioned earlier, Bud Black saying that at some point in the very near future, Andrew Kashner will probably find his way into the Padres rotation, and that's what Andrew Kashner would like to have happen. That's something he's wanted throughout his major league career. Of course, he still has that good youthful attitude. I'll do whatever they want me to do, but in his heart of hearts, he wants to be a starting pitcher, and I think he's going to be a real good one.
Bud Black has had to manage his bullpen today. Castor's already the 5th reliever the Padres have used.
Well, we mentioned it at the time, when you start playing matchups in the 5th inning of a ball game, lefty on lefty, righty on righty, you're going to use a lot of relief pitchers.
Both bullpens have been really good. As Barney pops it up, wind should push this one to the seats, and it will, right behind the Padre bullpen.
Selfishly, kind of like the fact that Kashner got traded to the Padres, because we didn't have a fishing hole in San Diego, but Andrew is scouting it out for us. And he's got a boat.
In on the hands and fouled away. If there's a fishing hole in a boat, you will find both.
We'll find water somewhere. Yeah. Andrew, quite the outdoorsman, growing up in Texas, loves to hunt, loves to fish. He could go hunting with a pocket full of rocks in that throwing arm that he has.
Flying ball to left on a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. So Barney with that quick bat, but he flies out. A changeup at 91.
That's what Bud Black was talking about earlier. The fact that Kashner, even though he throws 100 miles per hour, he's a pitcher. Got a first ball fastball hitter at the plate, a guy that could possibly hit a ball out of the ballpark and tie the game, and he starts in with a first pitch changeup at the bottom of the zone. It's an easy tapper down to first base for the second out of the inning.
Bob, explain how a 91-mile-an-hour changeup is a changeup when it's the first pitch, because most fastballs are around 91. Is that because Clevenger's geared up for 100?
Clevenger knows Andrew Cashner. Yeah, it's all relative to what a guy normally throws his fastball. And Cubs are well aware that Andrew Cashner can get it up there in the upper 90s, hit triple digits. So a 90-mile-an-hour changeup off of a guy who throws 100, it's effective. You see that kind of a modified circle change. The index finger slips over to the side of the baseball, almost as if you were signaling okay to somebody, and then you deliver the pitch with the middle finger and the ring finger. It looked like Andrew had a little bit of turning action there, kind of his wrist rotated to the inside, take a little more velocity off the pitch.
Straight fastball at 100. 1-1 to Reed Johnson. Not going to have too much movement on a pitch that fast.
He's in a rut. He's stuck on 100.
Slider low. Cashner also said he feels like overall he's in a little better shape than he was last year. He said I wasn't out of shape necessarily, but did a lot of leg work, and says he's had a better time keeping his weight on this season. Tall and lanky. Johnson breaks his bat, but picks up a 2-out hit, and he's going to hold it first.
Looked like a slider that just hung up on the inside part of the plate at 88 miles per hour, and Reed Johnson a little bit out in front, but extends his swing there. You saw the top hand come off the bat. Got it out into left field for a base hit. Now will be taken down for the pinch runner, Tony Campana.
The batters to Jesus. Tony's playing time has diminished a lot here lately with the change in the lineup. Joe Mather getting most of the starts in center. Cashner setting up for Dale Thayer, filling in as a closer with Houston Street on the DL. Huge lead by Campana. There he goes. A pitch out, throw to second, and he beat it. I mean, he had an enormous lead at first. You got a hard-throwing righty. You got Hundley on a pitch out, and he still really didn't have much of a chance.
No, not even close. Hundley maybe a little overly deliberate on the pitch out, but I don't think it made any difference. But the lead he had and the speed he has, that's an easy stolen base for Tony.
Yeah, do you think catchers do get a little more deliberate on pitch outs?
I think absolutely so. Yeah, you got to keep everything moving quickly, keep your momentum going toward your target. Not only do you step, in this case, out to your left to get away from the hitter, but you step out and up to try to cut down the distance. Ideally, you catch that pitch out in front of home plate.
Campana takes off for third. No throw. A lot of pent-up energy. He's been on the bench a lot lately, and he has stolen 2 bases here in the 8th.
Don't stop now.
And a strike. Well, the straight steal of home, by and large, a thing of the past.
And if it does ever happen, it's usually against a left-handed pitcher, a guy that has his back turned to that runner at third and is very slow in his delivery to home plate.
3-1. Jesus walks.
Shortstop, Starlin Castro.
Cubs have tied their season high with the 7 walks. Wind has died down. It's Cashner against Castro. High for ball 1. Two guys once thought to be a huge part of the future of the Cubs organization. Castro still is. Cashner dealt in the deal that brought Anthony Rizzo to the Cubs.
The old fake to third, then turn and fake to first. But as he turned and faked to first, Tony Campana came down the line about 3 or 4 big steps. Cashner completely turned his back on the runner at third, and Campana was sneaking down that line.
2-0.
Not only that, but timing the throw back from Nick Hundley to the mound. Maintained his secondary lead, and when Hundley lobbed the ball back to the mound, Tony came down the line a few extra steps. He's looking for any possibility of getting on that dish. Fastball away. There's no question Cashner is supplying a lot of the power. Just get the barrel of the bat on the ball. Big hole on the right side of the field. Big hole right back up the middle.
Not going to get a fastball here. A 2-2 pitch. Bounce to Headley. And he'll throw to first. Save! We're tied. Castro with an infield hit. 6-6.
Just the slightest of mishandling over there by Chase Headley that time. That ball came up, took a big hop right at the end. Took him an extra split second to find the grip on the baseball, and you love everything about it but the head first slide. Castro with an infield hit to drive home the tying run.
A 6-6 tie.
How about that 2-out rally?
Yeah. Not the first one today.
Broken bat hit by the pinch hitter Reed Johnson. Tony Campana comes in to run for him, steals 2 bases. David DeJesus walks in the meantime, and then Starlin Castro with good hustle down that first base line to beat out that infield hit.
4 of the 6 runs have come after 2 are out. There's Thayer. Two popped into left, and it's going to be the shortstop Cabrera out there to make the play. Cubs have tied it. Infield hit Starlin Castro, and it's 6-6 as we go to the 9th.
Everyone at Southwest Airlines works together for one goal: to get you where you're going. And with flights all over the country to choose from, it's a good thing we love our work. And now we're excited to take you to the beaches of Northwest Florida. Fly from Midway to Panama City Beach, Florida. Book all of our destinations online, only at southwest.com.
Men in Black 3 is the #1 movie in the galaxy.
Yes, sir, it is.
4 stars.
Pretty slick. Let's go.
It's the best Men in Black yet.
That's why you get to wear the black suit.
Thank you. Men in Black 3, rated PG-13, with 3D and IMAX 3D.
Visit MLB.com/fan guide to register for a chance to win a VIP experience for 2 to a 2012 MLB World Series game. Presented by Scotts, the official lawn care company of MLB.
So, dude, what is this you're listening to? You need to pump up some jams. I mean, come on, it's Friday. People want to dance. Yeah, Phil knows what I'm talking about, don't you, Phil? Let's break out the glow sticks. It's time to get this party started. Whip, whip. Wow, MJ in the house.
Thanks, man. Sure.
New Hanes tagless underwear. Go tagless.
Campana 2 steals in the game tying run after pinch running, and he stays into play center. Lefty James Russell will do the pitching. Elias reporting James Russell getting the first save of his major league career yesterday. His dad Jeff with 186 in his career. The 4th father and son duo to have a save. Each of them with a save in the majors. Julio and Jamie Navarro, Pedro Borbon Sr. and Jr., and Steve and Jason Grilli.
I would have thought perhaps the Stottlemyers would be on that list, but I guess not. Mel, I think, was a starter most of his career. And Todd was a starter most of his career.
Well, if and when Casey Coleman gets one, his dad has 7. Joe Coleman had 7. A 15-year career. Spent mostly as a starter. One to Cabrera, ground ball, and it gets away from Stewart for a leadoff single.
That's about as close as the bag you will ever see Ian Stewart play. Ball hit him like off the wrist there as he made that dive to his right.
It's that troublesome left wrist. Ground ball. Barney with a backhand, the flip. Relay. Double play. What range by Darwin Barney. They were shifting, and they still got it done.
Boy, great plays all around there. Darwin Barney showing his range up the middle. A very awkward angle for Starlin Castro coming across second. This is going to be our Home Depot doing more on defense play of the game right here. Big double play to snuff a possible rally. I mean, Castro is leaning out towards center field when he takes that throw from Darwin Barney. Turns his body all the way around. A little bit of a wide throw, but a good stretch by Brian LaHare. Nicely done by the entire Cubs infield on this play.
Especially clean the bags before Carlos Quentin hits. 2 2-run homers and a walk today. See all the damage on the bottom of your screen done in this series, and another hit.
Jeez.
Left field corner. He's at second.
I'll tell you what, Len, the Padres go home to play the Arizona Diamondbacks, and then they have an off day in a series against the Giants. You know the Diamondbacks and Giants have advanced scouts here at the game today, or they're watching on TV or charting off of the computer. That's the guy you can't let beat you right now. He is as hot as any hitter we've seen this summer.
Well, I guess the only good news, Bob, is he's out of the game.
How about that?
Removed for a pinch runner. Cameron Maybin. Maybin with the wrist issue, but well enough to run. Chase Headley, runner at second, 2 outs, takes a strike.
Don't let Carlos Quentin beat you. That's what that gentleman was writing in his notebook. Hitting everything.
Batting right-handed for the first time today. A couple of walks, a single, a steal, and a run on his previous trips, and now Clevenger and Russell talk about it.
Headley's been a much more effective hitter as a right-handed batter. .302 average coming into play today. .228 as a left-handed hitter, and 4 of his 7 homers have come as a righty.
Two and two. The Cubs have not led today. Time they were down 6-3. They got 2 in the 5th on bases loaded walks and 1 in the 8th. This one back to the seats. First base side, 38,516, the paid crowd today. Last homestand, the Cubs lost all of them, 0-5. They're trying to win all of them on this 3-gamer before getting back to the road. Swing and a miss. He got him. Russell pumped up. Cubs will try to win it as we go to the bottom of the ninth. With Brian LaHare, Alfonso Soriano, and Ian Stewart due up.
When the competition saw the success of the Acura MDX, they tried to copy it. But they don't have super handling all-wheel drive, as well as standard Bluetooth connectivity, leather, rear-view camera, and a 2012 Edmunds.com Best Retained Value Award. So while we're flattered, an imitation is still just an imitation. The one and only MDX.
Visit your Chicagoland Acura dealer. Luxury, intelligently priced.
Hey, how you guys doing tonight?
Today is yours to chart new paths with Jeep Compass, an evolutionary bloodline delivering revolutionary fuel economy. Jeep Grand Cherokee with unmatched luxury and capability. Jeep Wrangler's Pentastar V6, more power than before and better mileage. Go, find your power, and where you'll find it is within.
Now, during the Memorial Day sales event, get 0% APR financing or $1,750 cash allowance on Jeep Compass.
Changes now for the Padres. 6-6 here in the bottom of the ninth. Their entire outfield looks different. You've got Maben in center. It moves Venable from center to right. Denorfia from right to left. Andy Perino in to play second base. There's Denorfia in left. New pitcher's Dale Thayer. I believe Amarista over third.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Just about covers it. Brian LaHare leads off. Base hit into center. Winning run is on.
Can we use Tony Campana to run again? I guess not. Would be a nice luxury to have. Backdoor slider from Dale Thayer gets ripped right back up the middle of the field by Brian LaHare. Good start.
Thayer signed a minor league contract prior to the season. He was originally signed by the Padres as an undrafted free agent in 2002. He's been with the Rays, the Mets, and now pitching again for his original organization. Kind of a funky delivery. Thayer was warming up in the bullpen earlier. He then threw long toss from behind the bullpen mound, sat down for the last couple of outs at the top of the ninth. 1-1 the count. 2-1. Long run for Perino. Foul ground. He just can't get there. An excellent effort by the Padres second baseman.
Yeah, potential double play situation. The Padres cheating up the middle of the field a little bit, making it a long run for Perino to try to get over there. Good effort. Uses that slide to protect himself as he gets close to that Padres bullpen bench.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
On that slider, kryptonite. Outer part of the plate, sweeping off the plate, low and away. Thayer, you mentioned that kind of an odd herky-jerky delivery and throws extremely hard. His fastball's in the mid-90s.
Called strike 2. Stewart on a fastball at 93. They are 31 years old. Here's a pitch fouled back. Those Southern California guys here from Huntington Beach. Thayer and Stewart. Rich Rupp's been the bat boy the last 3 days. Cubs trying to extend a winning streak to 3 for the first time this season. Another 0-2. Bounced way out in front of the plate.
Slider rotation, pitch headed for the dirt. He covers that 5-hole with the glove, takes the brunt of that one right off his left bicep muscle. That's going to leave a mark.
Outside. 2-2.
Maben in center, Venable in right, playing about as deep as you can possibly play. Norfia not quite as deep in left field. Figuring Stewart doesn't have a lot of power to the opposite field.
High fly ball to right, not going to go. Venable was back near the warning track, then came in. 2 outs. See, Barney has reached 3 times, once on a bases loaded walk in the 5th. Laher led off the inning with a single, but he is still at first base. All of a sudden, lots of blue sky above us. Clouds have by and large disappeared. 1-2.
It's a reaction from the crowd, but on our BMO Harris pitch tracks, count should really be 0-3. Top of the strike zone.
Laher goes as Barney in protect mode with 2 strikes, bounces it foul.
Laher running on that pitch, but it wouldn't surprise me if he's holding on this pitch, because with a 1-2 count on Darwin Barney, we've seen the Padres pitch out in this series. If they thought Laher was possibly running again, they could pitch out in this count easily. Laher that time holding his ground over there at first base. You only get that element of surprise usually one time, especially in a tie ball game late. Dale Thayer has not thrown a wild pitch yet this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Barney out into left center. Still back. Gone! Cubs win! Darwin Barney with a 2-run homer. With the wind blowing in.
Wow. Go figure. One of the least likely candidates to hit a wind beater into the gale out of the north today. Darwin Barney behind in the count, gets a slider spinning up there in the middle of the plate. Barrels it up. When I saw Maben start to break it down in center field, I thought he had a beat on it, but that ball gets out of here.
Well, Darwin has been our post-game guest for each of the last 2 days, and looks like it's going to be 3 in a row. Unbelievable. So the Cubs win it. They come all the way back. They score the final 5 runs today, and Pat Boyle is on the field with the hero.
All right, Len, we'll take the first 3-game win streak of the campaign. Darwin Barney coming through. Take us through that at bat there against Thayer.
I was trying to look for a good pitch to hit, you know. He's got a great fastball, and I was fortunate to hit a good pitch.
Was that a slider he threw to you on the game winner?
Yeah, you know, you're looking fastball on a guy like him, throws hard. I don't know. I'm the last person that thought that ball was going to go, so.
You made a nice defensive play early in this game. I thought the pen did a nice job coming down, holding down the fort. And, you know, you guys come through very patient at bats. A lot of runs scored today with 2 outs.
Yeah, I mean, we put some long at-bats together. Something we've been working on and seeing a lot of pitches and trying to get deep into the counts. And, you know, fortunately for us, you know, our bullpen did a great job. And big hits by Clevenger. You know, we're excited about that.
Whoa! We get the sweep as Matt Garza comes out. Darwin will take that. I know winning streaks are great all the time, but on the heels of that 12-game losing skid, does this feel a little sweeter, a little wetter?
Yeah, it feels good to help produce a little bit. I was struggling a little bit, but, as a team, we're just going to keep going. There's a lot of season left, and, anything can happen in this game.
Darwin, keep it going in San Francisco.
Thanks a lot.
Len, let's send it back upstairs to you.
Thanks, Pat. 2 homers in the series for Darwin Barney, and he even said it. He said, I was the last person to think that ball was going to get out. It just kept carrying. And the Cubs will head to San Francisco on their first 3-game winning streak of the season. So Darwin Barney, our GMC player of the game, and that'll end our broadcast from Wrigley Field. For Bob and our entire crew, Len Casper saying so long from Wrigley Field. We're back from San Francisco Monday at 2:30 here on CSN. In-game scoring provided by ScorePad. You've been watching Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, now part of the NBC Sports Group.
Hi, I'm Gail Fisher in our Comcast Sportsnet studios. Todd Hollinsworth joins me next for Cubs Postgame Live. We'll recap today's action, bring you Ryan Dempster and Dale Sveum's postgame remarks, and we're interactive again today. If you have a question, you can send it to us via Twitter using the hashtag CubsPGL. And I'll come your way after this short timeout.
Well. Growing up, we didn't have Uverse. We couldn't record 4 shows at the same time. In my day, you're lucky if you could record 2 shows. And a mom was recording her dumb show and dad was recording his dumb show then. By George, that's all we watched. And we liked it. Today's kids, God, it's so good.
Get Uverse TV for $29 a month for 6 months with a total home DVR included. AT&T.
If you can hold your nachos with one hand, you can be a hero with the other. Because your nachos are wrapped inside Taco Bell's new 99-cent beefy nacho burrito.
Helpful steps for parents can help. Take the first step today at BMO Harris Bank.
Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Nissan. Get to a Nissan dealer for great deals on innovation you can count on. Innovation for all. Xfinity. Your home for the most live sports. Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Midas. For brakes, oil changes, and tires. Trust the Midas touch. AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Honda. Visit your local Chicagoland Honda dealer for more information on current offers. This is Cubs Postgame Live, presented by Horseshoe Casino.
Barney out into left center. Still back. Gone! Cubs win!
Darwin Barney comes through in the bottom of the ninth with a 2-run home run, giving the Cubs the 3-game sweep of the Padres. 8-6 is the final. Hello and welcome to Cubs Postgame Live, presented by Horseshoe Casino, along with Todd Hollinsworth. I'm Gail Fisher. Holly, you called this one. You said Darwin Barney is the guy who can come through. Now, I didn't think he could get Brian LaHair home from first base, but I don't think either of us thought he would hit a 2-run home.
Gail, that's fair. I did not think he was going to hit us a home run right there, but I said Darwin Barney is clutch. He was having great at-bats throughout the ballgame. The thing that's been impressing me about Darwin Barney lately is his patience at the plate. He's clearly been working on it. You saw that early in the ballgame, a couple of walks, a base hit, stealing a base, doing different things to get some things going, and clearly was the table setter today from the bottom of the order, and I thought it was just so impressive. Well-deserved, has a good at-bat going there. He's down in the count 1-2, gets that hanging slider, and he's ready to swing right there, and he connects. The home run, listen, I'm not going to claim that I was hoping he was going to hit a homer. I was, but I just didn't expect it.
Well, it was against the wind. Who knew Barney had that kind of power? Even he was taken by surprise, but he is the hero of this one today. Now, if you have a question for the show, we're interactive once again today. JJ Stankiewicz is in the Discount Tire Interactive Suite, and you can join in the chat at csnchicago.com or send us a question via Twitter using the hashtag CubsPGL. Todd will answer a few of your questions a little bit later in the show. All right, time now for our Sports Authority play of the game. What else could it be? Bottom of the ninth, game tied at 6. Darwin Barney with a man on and 2 outs, I might add. The home run to left center field, giving the Cubs the win.
Yeah, you saw that right there, the 1-2 slider. Darwin explained it to you in his post-game interview there with Pat Boyle. He was sitting dead red. You're talking about 95 miles an hour coming in there, fell behind in the count, and that's what you do. You've got to sit dead red. I talked a little bit about Brian LaHair, kind of where he's at in his approach. You've got to be thinking fastball all the time so that you can be ready to react to the slider when it's in the strike zone. Darwin Barney does just that. Surprises all of Wrigleyville, including this studio with the big home run.
I was thinking just hit, and then I was thinking, well, LaHair can't score from first, but you don't really have a pinch runner situation there. You've already used Tony Campana in the 8th inning, and that's how the Cubs tied up this game. Todd, I think you called it a triple by Campana, because all he has to do is get on base and he'll find his way to third.
Well, that's exactly right. Reed Johnson leads off with a pinch hit single, but we're going to get Tony Campana on base here, and that's just exactly what we do. It's called a pinch triple. You get him on base, you pitch out, it doesn't matter. He's going to swipe second base. You're going to fall asleep thinking he is done, and guess what? There he goes again. You know what? He's going to steal third. Sets it up, and to me, as exciting as that is, and we talk about the dynamics that Tony brings to the game with his speed, David DeJesus right there with the walk, and Starlin Castro right here hustling out of the gate. This is how you play the game of baseball. This is how you create comeback wins, doing things like this. Don't like the head first slide into first base. He would have beaten anyway. But I love to see the passion. I love to see the enthusiasm. The guys wanted this game today. How many times have we gone down this road where this team falls behind early in a ball game and that fire it gets extinguished. It comes out of them. They don't show up. They battled back. They had that big inning, and I think it was the 5th inning where they got the walks. They got a couple here, a couple there. Things going on, things to learn from, things to build from. A 3-game win streak, and now they're off to San Francisco. 13
walks in this game, but as we mentioned before the final out, at least the Cubs had more of them than the Padres with 7, but the key was in that 5th inning. They were able to take advantage of the walks in this situation.
Yeah, they got a lot of patient at-bats here, and I think that's just really where you go. I mean, it starts out with the base hit by David DeJesus, but I got to imagine Bud Black, manager for the San Diego Padres, a little frustrated with Bass right here. Again, they got the lead. This is the 2nd time handed Anthony Bass a lead, and what he needs to do right now is be aggressive, and what I'm seeing is a lack of aggressiveness. Really, that's all it is. I mean, you're seeing a lot of fastballs down and around the zone, and you got the sense the Cubs hitters, they could take the 2 strikes right there, and you create a line move, and 1 hit in the inning, 4 walks, they get some action, and they end up scoring a couple runs without doing much more than going up there and standing in the batter's box. But you know what? It was contagious. I really felt like it was Darwin Barney starting it in his first at-bat of the ball game in the second inning, or actually the third inning, where he got things going and put together a 7-8 pitch at bat, and you kind of got that sense that if you made this guy work a little bit, it was going to set the table. It was that type of ball game early. Credit the Cubs bullpen as well. 4 2/3 shutout innings today, 5 strikeouts, only a couple walks. They did their job as well. So, yeah, Ryan Dempster, we wanted to get him the win today. He's off the hook. He didn't have it. He certainly wasn't sharp in this game. He was battling, I think, to get 4 1/3 innings out of him. Really was good, as bad as he was early in this ball game. But a great win for the Cubs. For me, maybe the best one of the year.
A no decision for Ryan Dempster. Here he is addressing the media. Let's listen in.
Yeah, that was awesome. You know, just battled. I kept putting us behind the 8 ball, and they just kept battling back. And, you know, a big 5th inning for us there and score some runs. You know, on the 8th with Reed, the big hit off Cashner. And, yeah, that was outstanding, man. And then Barney hitting a walk-off. Really, really great for us. You know, we just went through a really tough stretch and losing those 12 games in a row, and then come back and bounce back from that by sweeping somebody feels really good.
Dale said maybe you didn't have it with the splitter and the slider today. That many bullets is how you put it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes too, you know, I didn't have my command I've been having all year, but at the same time, I made some pitches at Carlos Quentin. I probably should have just drilled him or something. Really, like, looking back at it, holy cow. I mean, a fastball in on the black, he hits a homer, and a fastball 3 balls outside, and he hits a homer. So maybe I shouldn't have just pitched to him and just worked on the next guy. But, you know, that's the way it goes sometimes, unfortunately. You know, going into the game, winning 2 in a row, we wanted to try and sweep today, and I felt like I didn't do my job very well. But the guys picked me up and picked our team up in a big way and got us sweep to complete the homestand, so that was good.
You talk about this road trip, kind of the strange trip, San Francisco, then back to Milwaukee. You got some momentum going in, though.
Yeah, we definitely, for sure. We'll go out to San Francisco, and they always are tough games out there, and but we just keep building off this and just taking it one game at a time, and hopefully go out there and win 4 in a row tomorrow or on Friday and go from there.
The bullpen's been through so much. It's nice to see not only today, but the series. They've kind of seen get things together.
Yeah, man, they did a great job. I mean, all the way from yesterday, you know, the job that Camp did yesterday, and the job that, you know, Casey Coleman. You know, sometimes when you play games like this, everybody sees the walk-off home run, or they see things like that, and you lose focus on what got us there. And what got us there was the bullpen doing their job and keeping those guys at 6 runs, and that was Coleman, and you know, doing the job he did. You know, Russell came in and did a great job. Marmol, the big strikeout. So, you know, really, really good job by those guys. We don't win that game if they don't do the job they did. Yeah, man, absolutely. Yeah, and you know, I know, you know, he threw the five innings in Houston, and he bounced back from that, and has been kind of going back to back to back, and pitching really well. So, just a huge contribution from everybody today, and a big win for us.
Last year was a month without a win. This year is 2. How do you internalize that? And as professional as you are, I mean, it has to weigh on you a little bit.
Yeah, it upset me today just for the fact that I didn't feel like I did my job. It's one thing when you go out there and you do your job and you don't get the win, but more important than that, we came back today and fought our way back to sweep a series, and I really don't care about that today. Just the fact that the guys did such a great job and battled all the way back, and to have a huge win like that is awesome. You know, it's a short homestand, but to win all 3 games on a homestand is a great thing.
Ryan Dempster's winless streak stands at 18 straight starts now. He gets the no decision. The Cubs somehow pull this off. 8-6 is your final from Wrigley Field. But Demp really didn't help himself any in this one, as he admitted there in his post-game remarks. Todd, 3 2-run home runs given up by Ryan Dempster.
Yeah, Denorfia was a changeup up in the zone. Carlos Quentin is the hottest hitter on the planet right now, and really, I mean, I guess you could see it coming. I mean, he's had great swings in this series, but it's still so early. And really what I saw was Carlos Quintans was on the fastball, so maybe it was the pitch selection. I know Temp was trying to make pitches in and get in on his hands. He does make a couple good points. The pitch, I know for a fact that he drives out to right field for the 2-run homers at least 3 or 4 inches outside. Quinton had, and that ball's deep on his hands. I think you're just getting a good dose of how talented this young man is, especially on fastballs, and how badly the San Diego Padres need him in the middle of that lineup right now. He comes into the series, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. This was a hot man, and I really haven't seen anybody quite this hot over a 3-game stretch all season long. And I watch baseball just about every game there is, and he's really getting it done. So, yeah, Demp didn't have it today. He had the 4 walks, 98 pitches, 4 1/3 innings. I mean, that's going to tell you the story. He was struggling a little bit.
Darwin Barney now. Let's listen in at Wrigley Field.
You work hard on conditioning and strength, and you're able to do some of these things you might not have done last year.
Yeah, I mean, keeping my weight on is one thing that helped. You know, I think that might have something to do with it, but, you know, I've been working a lot with Rudy and Dale on my path and the way I'm striking the ball, you know, trying to be more downhill and linear, so, you know.
You remember you've done that before, walk-off home run?
That was the first walk-off home run I've ever had at any level. I didn't even see it go out. You know, I was just running hard, and you know, it was crazy. I mean, it's already gone and passed, and it happened so fast. So, you know, it was exciting. It was good for our club.
It's nice to be able to pick up. Dempster has done so much for this team, and record-wise, has nothing to show for it.
You know, that's probably the hardest thing about this game is, you know, for a month and a half, Dempster was the best pitcher in the game, and you know, we couldn't do anything for him on the offensive side, and you know, he pitched strong today, and you know, unfortunately, we didn't get him that win, but you know, hopefully, it's coming soon.
The double play, you guys.
All right, the Cubs beat the Padres 8-6 thanks to a Darwin Barney home run in the bottom of the 9th inning. After a timeout, you'll hear from Dale Sveum. We'll be back after this.
Traveled all this way. Make it worth their while. Horseshoe Casino.
Play the escape game for your chance to win millions in prizes. Visit your local Horseshoe or play at TotalRewards.com.
Want total access to Major League Baseball? Then you need Xfinity and MLB Network. You'll get over 125 live regular season games with live look-ins from around the league, plus 24/7 inside access, so you're there for all of baseball's biggest stories. With Xfinity from Comcast, the best seat in the house is in your house. Sign up for the HD Premier XF Triple Play, or ask about other bundles starting as low as $99 a month for a year. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Call today.
Direct injection. 265 foot-pounds of torque. All part of an engine built to effortlessly power through whatever challenge lies around the corner, no matter where that corner happens to be. The 308 horsepower Cadillac SRX, the most powerful standard engine in any luxury crossover. Take advantage of this exceptional offer on the stunning SRX crossover today.
How much coffee you fellas gonna need today? 3, 4 cups?
Well, we...
Doesn't last long, does it? Listen, 5-hour energy lasts a whole lot of hours, so you can get a lot done without refills. And it's packed with B vitamins and nutrients to make it last. So, don't just stand there holding your lattes, boys. Make your move.
We'll take the 5-hour energy.
Smart move. 5-hour energy. Hours and hours of energy.
Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by Cholula Hot Sauce, the flavorful hot sauce with the iconic wooden cap.
Eight-time 8-division world champion, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, with his welterweight title on the line against one of the most dangerous opponents of his career, the undefeated light welterweight world champion, Timothy Desert Storm Bradley.
Timothy Bradley says he can beat me. We'll see just how long he can last against the Pac-Man. Watch our fight live Saturday, June 9 on DirecTV pay-per-view.
I gladly referred some of my friends to DirecTV, and now I get $40 a month off my bill. If I'm happy with something, I'm going to tell my friends about it. You know, I've referred people to my mechanic, but he's never given me a free oil change. But with DirecTV, when I refer somebody, I get a discount, and I think that says something about them.
For every friend you refer to DirecTV, you'll get $10 off your bill every month, and so will they. Refer more friends, save more money. Just give them your account number before they call.
Time now for our Four Seasons heating and air conditioning. Who's hot, who's not? This is day games this season. Melky Cabrera loves the sunshine, .395 batting average. David Wright hitting .389 during the day. And Jose Altuve hitting .377. Who's not hot during day games? They do not like that natural light. 145 Ricky Weeks is hitting. Shane Victorino a .143 and Andre Ethier a .160 batting average during the day. Time to hear from Dale Sveum now in the Xfinity post-game press conference.
Where are you going to get it from? Yeah, Barney's had plenty of it lately. A couple doubles yesterday. Obviously, huge home run today to win it. So, you know, he's been doing a nice job with building that slugging percentage, that's for sure. That ball was crushed through that wind.
You talked about Campana before the game about how he can be a commodity off the bench and improve that against the team.
Yeah, he's you know, he's a huge, you know, monster asset to be able to, you know, use him in those situations, and hopefully, you know, he's so fast that, you know, when you have to use him in that situation, because you don't want him when you're losing by one run. You don't want to just leave him on the bench. So when anybody gets on base, you have to get him in there, even there's 2 outs, and you hope he steals the base early, and you know, it worked out perfectly the way you want it to, but, you know, it's not always going to happen that way. But, you know, you can't sit there and say, well, let's wait till the 9th if one of those guys get on. Well, what if nobody gets on? Then you just left a great asset sitting on the bench.
You're looking for offense, obviously they're on the flow now. It's nice that you got it the ways you got it, the 8 spot, the 9 spot, the 2 walks. It seemed like.
Yeah, we got a lot of, you know, Reed came through with a huge, you know, pinch hit again. You know, he's been doing a great job off the bench, as well as most of our pinch hitters are doing a good job off the bench. So, but yeah, when you get the bottom end of your order, you know, putting up numbers and slugging percentage and all that, you're gonna score runs. That's the bottom line sometimes. When you get that bottom of the order doing something, you know, we were struggling there when our bottom of the lineup really wasn't, and the top guys were actually doing their job, but it wasn't getting nothing done at the bottom.
What boosters this sweep, especially facing a tough, kind of a weird road trip off the Frisco back here to the west?
Well, I mean, when you come home and you win all of them just for 3 days, when I think, what do we have, like 3 home games out of the last, it's going to be out of 18 or 20, I don't know what it is, but out of 19. So, you know, when you win all 3 of them at home, that's huge, you know, because it ain't, you know, one of these tougher road trips we're going to be on all year, when you got to go all the way out west and then all the way back out to the Midwest to Milwaukee and then up to Minnesota.
Once again, we are interactive today. JJ Stankovitz is at the Discount Tires Interactive Suite, moderating the discussion on CSNChicago.com and also fielding questions on Twitter for those using #CubsPGL. All right, question for Todd Hollandsworth. Is Ryan Dempster for real this year, or is his start today a sign of things to come? That's Nick in the chat. Yes, Dempster gave up 6 earned runs today, the highest of the season for him so far. He had a 2.14 ERA coming into today.
He's been pitching great. I mean, you can go look at the box score today and say, yeah, you can see 4 walks, you can see 3 2-run homers, whatever you want. But, you know, here's the facts. The facts are there's a couple guys in this lineup, this Padres lineup. It doesn't matter how good or bad, indifferent, whatever you think of the Padres. There's a couple guys that had his number, and those 2 individuals, one happened to be Kristen Norfius, 6 for 9 in his career against Ryan Dempster. And you see Carlos Quinton sitting there. He's 5 for 12 coming into this ball ballgame. The two guys, hottest, biggest numbers against Demp, got him today. He didn't make his pitches. He wasn't sharp. Nobody's defending that. He was bad. He'll be the first to tell you, and you know what? I saw bad today. Pitches were up in the strike zone and balls were leaving the yard. He couldn't get a guy out at the top of the inning. Was making a lot of mistakes. 98 pitches and couldn't get through the fifth. That tells you right there, today was a bad day for Demp. Yeah. He's not going to get that win. But that being said, there were a couple guys in this lineup that had his number coming in. That's why they were in the lineup. And not to mention, Carlos Quinton was swinging a hot bat before he even got in there against Dempster today. So, honestly, I'm going to chalk this up to the two guys who had his number, getting his number again. History proves itself out. I think Demp's going to be fine, but he, again, is going to have to work himself back down into the strike zone and get his ball moving around the plate down as opposed to up, what you saw today.
Well, let's take a look at our UPS store taking care of business play. It's Darwin Barney, but it's not the home run. No, it's Barney on the defensive end of things. He's going to throw Chase Headley out on this Hundley play.
Well, you don't realize how big a play this is. Obviously, you see the final score, but right there in this ballgame, it stops the bleeding, makes a nice play. And you don't realize, again, how quick as it is a defender. This guy's moving on contact. Darwin comes up with a quick throw, a little underhand throw, flip to the plate, right on line. You get the play, the big play at the plate, a little bit of a collision. Clevenger holds on to the baseball. Huge. Clevenger had a great day at the plate.
Some credit to Clevenger.
Yeah, absolutely holds on to that ball, especially when you've got a collision as well. So thankfully nobody got hurt. That's what I was actually doing, holding my breath, because we have been going through catchers quite quickly.
Time now for the Subway winning box score. Of course, it's the Cubs who get the victory. 8-6 is your final. Taking a look at some of the numbers from this game. Starlin Castro actually doing very well in that two-hole with a couple of hits in this one. And Steve Clevenger, we just mentioned him. He spent some time on the DL. Well, he got 2 hits in this ball game since coming off the disabled list.
Well, Clev had a real nice ball game today, going the other way. 11 for 22 coming into the day, goes 2 for 4 again, so he's still hitting 500. But great approach, not trying to do too much, and that's what you do when you miss time. Stay inside the baseball. It's going to help you find your timing and get back. 2 big base hits. He was working with Darwin Barney at the bottom of that lineup, and I'll tell you what, they were the 2 individuals that got the Cubs back in this ball game today. As bad as Demp was, giving the lead back, extending it out, I thought, oh, here we go again. I don't know where it's going to come from today, because the middle of this lineup didn't look like it was going to do much today. These 2 gentlemen, Darwin Barney, Steve Clevenger, had great at-bats at the end of this ball game, or at the beginning of this ball game, at the bottom of the lineup, and actually got the Cubs back in this game.
Well, the Cubs get a much-needed day off tomorrow before heading west to San Francisco, but they end this series with the Padres with a sweep, their first 3-game win streak of the season. After a final timeout, Todd and I will talk some more about the Cubs' upcoming series, and Todd will answer more of your questions as they head out to this road trip to San Francisco.
Sports Authority is proud to be the official sporting goods retailer of the Chicago Cubs. Sports Authority, all things sporting good.
Now listen to me. I've seen you grow as players and grow as a team. And no matter what happens out there, you will walk out of this locker room better than when you walked in. Win or lose, you are all champions.
These have always been the rooms where teams are built, and Sports Authority will always supply just the right tools. Because we have everything for every team with unbeatable values. Sports Authority, all things sporting good.
When it comes to sports sedans, the Audi A6 is faster at depreciating. The 270 horsepower 2012 Cadillac CTS, the winner of an Edmunds.com Best Retained Value Award. Take advantage of this exceptional offer on the exhilarating CTS Sports Sedan today.
Well. Growing up, we didn't have Uverse. We couldn't record 4 shows at the same time. In my day, you're lucky if you could record 2 shows. And a mom was recording her dumb show, and Dad was recording his dumb show then. By George, that's all we watched. And we liked it. Today's kids, God, it's so good.
Get Uverse TV for $29 a month for 6 months with a total home DVR included. AT&T.
This is corporate headquarters. As you can see, I have a unique business. How do I compete with the big boys? Got this fancy business address, a marketing department, distribution center, even a cafeteria.
That's mine.
From packing and shipping to printing and mailbox services, come into the UPS store for everything a small business needs.
I love logistics.
Use your Visa card at the UPS store and you're entered for a chance to win a trip to the London 2012 Olympic Games from Visa.
It's an event so big, we couldn't keep it all inside. Nissan's National Tent Event is back with 500 holiday bonus cash on top of existing offers. Now, get a $179 lease on Altima or a $209 lease on Rogue. Visit ChooseNissan.com. Test drive at your local Nissan dealer. Hurry, when the tents come down, these deals will end.
We're going to check in one last time at the Discount Tire Interactive Suite. JJ Stankovitz has been keeping up with the discussion at CSNChicago.com and also keeping tabs on Twitter for those using the hashtag CubsPGL. Now, Doug Foster on Twitter writes this. Did you guys notice that the guy who caught the ball and threw back Quinton's first home run also caught the game winner from Barney?
Wow.
Talk about a lucky day at the ballpark.
Yeah.
There's
Very
a
nice.
He
There
brought
he
his
is.
glove.
Nice
He brought his
grab.
glove.
Nice grab. Reaches out. Extends out. Keeps it out of the basket.
With that wind blowing in, that was a good place to be, right by the basket.
Yeah, it was a windy day, no doubt. Let's see. Here he comes. No way. He got the game winner.
And he gets to
How
keep that
about
ball.
that? That's right. And good thing he stuck around for a nice Cubs win, and he gets Darwin Barney's first ever. We're talking career. We're talking Little League, Legion ball, Babe Ruth, whatever, walk-off home run. He's got it in his possession, so maybe he needs to dial Darwin's number and see what Darwin might give up for that ball.
Nicely done. All right. Will Clevenger stay behind the plate when Giovanni Soto returns from injury? Soto is nursing a torn meniscus in his knee right now, and Clevenger's actually playing well.
Clevenger's doing a fantastic job. I absolutely think he's going to get more playing time, and I'd love to see him get more playing time. He's a left-handed bat. He's come up. He's getting big hits. He's putting together great at-bats. The pitchers seem to be responding to him as well. That being said, Gio's got to play. I don't think this is a situation where you're going to watch Gio come back and ride the pine, but I will say this, 50-50 split's okay with me right now, unless Gio comes back and starts tearing it up. Gio was off to a slow start. Clevenger's earned some more playing time from me. Hopefully we'll get more of that playing time even when Gio comes back.
Well, and with all the injuries to the catchers, including those two, you might want to mix it up just to begin with to make sure they're fully healthy. All right, and we have one final question here. Is this 3-game win streak a sign of things to come or a lucky streak against a bad team? Yeah, the Padres aren't good. I think it's a nice momentum builder for the Cubs.
No, it's not lucky. There's no luck in baseball. You got to go out there and play the games against the teams. Listen, there's a lot of teams that get to the playoffs by beating the bad teams and playing 500 baseball against all the good teams in baseball. A lot of players will tell you it's a formula. But I will say this, the Padres, they're not that good. They're struggling this year. They've had a bunch of injuries to that starting rotation. You saw to them break down a little bit in their bullpen, so they got a lot of things going on. This is a good win for the Cubs. Leave it at that. I don't think luck has got anything to do with this. They're playing pretty good baseball, but they're going to have to keep it together because they're going to go play a San Francisco Giants team right now that's hot as a firecracker.
Yeah, so the Cubs have the day off on Thursday. They'll head out to San Francisco and open a weekend series with the Giants on Friday. So let's check out the pitching matchup for Friday's Game 1 in San Francisco. Madison Bumgarner starts for the Giants. He is 5-4 with a 3.14 ERA, and he'll be opposed by the Cubs' Paul Maholm.
Well, it's going to be a fun series. Again, you're going to see this is a little bit of a different Giants team. They don't have a lot of thump. You got guys like Buster Posey in the middle of that lineup. Melky Cabrera, 50 hits this month. They're putting it together with their offense in a little different way. They're getting hits, they're hitting and running, they're moving the ball around, but they're scoring runs and they're winning right now. Paul Maholm, pretty solid effort in Pittsburgh. I'm pretty happy with what he's been doing right now, what I've seen. He's definitely keeping the ball down in the strike zone. He's giving himself opportunities to win and his team a chance to win as well, but he is going to have to do that. It's going to be a little different team. Early in the season, we talked about some of his rough starts. It was the ball leaving the yard, the long ball. I don't think he's going to have to worry about that too much when you talked about the Giants, but what I think he's going to have to do is control the inning. There's going to be guys on base. There's probably going to be a little bit of traffic, so we'll see how he goes about it.
All right, Todd gets a little break. The Cubs have the day off tomorrow. They get the big victory 8-6 this afternoon. Thanks for watching Horseshoe Casino Cubs Postgame Live. Chicago Tribune Live comes your way next.
Cubs Postgame Live is presented by Horseshoe Casino. Nobody does more for the gambler than Horseshoe Casino. Just 20 minutes from downtown Chicago.
Table 1.
his way. Make it worth their while. Horseshoe Casino.
Play the escape game for your chance to win millions in prizes. Visit your local Horseshoe or play at TotalRewards.com.
Direct injection. 265 foot-pounds of torque. All part of an engine built to effortlessly power through whatever challenge lies around the corner, no matter where that corner happens to be. The 308 horsepower Cadillac SRX, the most powerful standard engine in any luxury crossover. Take advantage of this exceptional offer on the stunning SRX crossover today.
Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by Cholula Hot Sauce, the flavorful hot sauce with the iconic wooden cap.
Find incredibly low prices this week during the Menards Amazing Deals event.
Turn up the heat with the Huntington Gas Grill, made in the USA, now $374.
The savings are sizzling with these no-name steak burgers, just $4.99 after rebate.
Swing into the golf season with an amazing deal on Wilson clubs. They're just $99.99 a set after rebate.
Keep wheeling and dealing with the ladies or men's bikes. They're just $69 each after rebate. So hurry into Menards now through Sunday.
You can't afford to miss this event.
Cubs Postgame Live is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs.
He's back. 8-time, 8-division world champion Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao with his welterweight title on the line against one of the most dangerous opponents of his career, the undefeated light welterweight world champion Timothy Desert Storm Bradley. Order now on DirecTV, and with the purchase of a 12-pack of Tecate or Tecate Light, receive up to $40 back by mail. Offer ends June 9th, 2012. Must be 21 years of age or older. Other terms apply. Live Saturday, June 9th on DirecTV pay-per-view.
At the Gerald Auto Group, we know what a lifetime means. It means a lifetime relationship with our customers. It means keeping you on the road safely. It means knowing who you are and getting the vehicle that is right for you. It means understanding our exclusive lifetime warranty reaches far beyond the maintenance of your vehicle. Visit GeraldAuto.com today to view our huge inventory. Are you ready for a lifetime of great driving? We are. Gerald Auto Group in Naperville and North Aurora is always a better deal. I guarantee it.
Hey, Sarah.
Hey, Coop, what's up?
How you doing? Excited for your first Chicago trip?
I'm psyched. And we got KC, we got Teddy, Fultman. Great lineup. We got lots to talk about.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, real quick, before we get started here, I just want to make sure you're comfortable with everything.
Yeah, whatever you need.
Just
let
get
me know.
You accustomed and, fit right in, okay?
Yeah.
So I just need to do a couple things, okay?
Okay.
All right, first of all, I need you to repeat after me. I need you to say, "That's ridiculous."
That's ridiculous.
Nice.
I watched the show.
Very good. All right, real quick question for you to get in Cap's mindset, okay?
Channeling.
Who's the greatest athlete of all time?
Brian LaHare.
No. He's the greatest Cub of all time. The greatest athlete of all time is Secretariat.
A horse?
We've been trying to explain that to him for years anyway, but hey, anyway.
Okay.
You excited?
I'm excited. I'm ready.
We got the White Sox are still hot.
Sox.
Cubs thinking draft, Bears OTAs, NBA playoffs, trade rumors.
We've got it all for you, and it's all straight ahead on Chicago Tribune Live, which starts right now. Happy Wednesday, everybody. A lot to get to, but first, here are your headlines. The Brooms were out at the Trop today. The White Sox won their 8th straight, knocked off the Rays 4-3. The offense had 11 hits, and the bullpen allowed 2 runs over 5 1/3 to keep the White Sox in first place. Meanwhile, at Wrigley, the Cubs finished off a sweep of their own. Darwin Barney hit a walk-off 2-run homer as the Cubs beat the Padres 8-6, their first 3-game winning streak this season. Hey, everyone, and welcome into Chicago Tribune Live, presented by Captain Morgan. If you can't tell already, Cap has a day off. I'm Sarah Kustak, but we're going to take every opportunity we have to rag on him a little bit tonight. An all-star lineup, all-star panel. Let's first start by introducing Bulls beat writer Casey Johnson. We have Mr. College Sports Teddy Greenstein, plus our hockey guru, Bob Fultman. All right, guys. Well, you take a look at what the White Sox did today, and it was certainly a big day for them as they continue their hot streak. AL Central leaders, they remain in first. They knocked off the Rays 4-3 to sweep Tampa and win their 8th in a row. They've swept their last 2 series against the Indians and Rays, 2 teams that had at least a share of first place when they faced them. So, guys, it's obviously been the question floating around for a while now. Are they just incredibly hot right now, or is this team really for real?
This much I know. If this team makes the postseason, this is going to rank in definitely the top 10, probably the top 5 most memorable games. I'm sure you'll show some of these clips. We had beatings, ejections, Hawk going crazy, but incredible to sweep such a good team.
Is it a surprise? Because what I always go back to is this is essentially kind of the same lineup and roster that we had at the beginning of last season that was picked to win the Central.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a surprise only because the people that everybody just kind of wrote off, like Alex Rios and maybe Adam Dunn, are producing what people thought they would produce. I don't think that the preseason predictions, SI had them predicting losing 95 games. I thought that was extreme. Are they a 90 to 95 win team? I'm not ready to say that yet. But in this division, with the way the Tigers are playing, the Indians have not been playing well lately. They're going to probably hang around for the whole year, and it's a winnable division because, it's kind of a mediocre division. So 86 to 88 wins might win the Central this year, and they're certainly capable of getting to that.
All right, let's rewind for a minute today because the game got interesting early on. In the top of the third, A.J. Pierzynski got hit in the shoulder blade with a pitch. Now, A.J. not too pleased with it, looks out towards the mound, says something. No warnings were issued. In the bottom of the 4th, Carlos Quintana threw behind Ben Zobrist, and, well, we'll let Hawk describe it for you.
Watch out. Oh, what are you doing? He threw him out of the ball game. You've got to be raping me. What in the hell are you doing? What are you doing, Wagner? You've got to be kidding me. That is so bad. That is absolutely brutal.
That's incredible.
That is unbelievable. I'll tell you what. Got to start making guys be accountable. That is totally absurd. That just tells you he has blue. Here's an umpire in the American League knows nothing about the game of baseball. That's unbelievable. They have got to do something about this, I'll tell you. They got some guys in this league that have no business umpiring. They have no business umpiring because they don't know what the game of baseball is about. One of them. We have always had problems with this guy right here.
Hawk not happy. Needless to say, so Quintana tossed. Robin Ventura was later ejected. Remember, no warnings were ever issued when AJ was hit. So, as we heard from Hawk, is this a larger issue with the quality of the umpires?
Well, what we didn't show was what AJ did last night to start this whole thing. Mr. Troublemaker, as he's prone to be. He comes in late and hard on Zobrist on that slide. So that's why Tampa Bay is coming back after him. And this whole thing about throwing behind guys, I don't know why this started 4 or 5 years ago. If Quintana just drills him in the hip, something like that, it might look like the pitch just got away. But if you throw behind him, you're just holding up a sign that says, I'm purposely trying to drill him. And then you leave it in the umpire's hands.
And you don't need to issue warnings first, I don't believe.
No.
It's up to the umpire's discretion. If he thinks that it's on purpose, he can eject the guy without issuing a warning. And not only the Pierzynski play last night, but remember a couple games ago when Tampa was in Boston, or when Boston was in Tampa, I forget where that series was, they had a little bit of a problem. So that may have been on the issue, too, that, maybe Tampa, is prone to getting into these kind of things, and they want to nip things, before benches clear and things escalate. Was it overreacting? Yeah, but Quintana did a horrible job of doing it. I mean, you are just advertising yourself. Yes, I'm throwing at this guy. And you almost leave the umpire with no choice but to do what he did there. If he does hit him in the leg or in the thigh or something, Wegner has a little bit of leeway. Here he really has no leeway at all because it was just so blatant that he was throwing at him that, what are you going to do there?
Is that a matter of inexperience of Quintana?
Sure.
Or do they just want to send a message to him since he's young in the league?
Just like Hawk says, I mean, there are so many unwritten rules of baseball. This is part of why we love baseball, because they're open to interpretation. And one of them is this: you got to know how to beat a guy.
There's an art to it.
And he came in on AJ, and that's a little higher than you should, but he didn't go after his head. AJ's a tall guy, so he took it in the shoulder. All right, and AJ took it like a man, walked to first base. But this, when you go back at him, you just don't throw behind him. First of all, throwing behind a guy, the hitter's probably just like laughing. It's not like it hurts him. It's not going to get hurt by the wind, so why throw behind him?
How about the arguing style of Robin Ventura? It's like the most mild-mannered, passive-aggressive argument I think I've ever seen from a manager. It's a shock that he got ejected himself later. Did he?
Yeah. Well, no, I think that's an automatic ejection on this one here, because I think he was kicked out right. I think it's the pitcher and the manager go in this instance.
But I mean, look at that. He's like, come on. Yeah. Like, come on, man. Really?
Robin is like a professional shrugger. I mean, if you ask him questions, that's how he responds. And that's what he's doing right there. That is typical Robin.
Which, how much do you think his whole mentality and the way that he acts and his composure has helped this team? I mean, why are they at the place they're at? Because of his chill mannerisms.
Just what we all see from sports is that you fire one guy and you have to go with the exact opposite, whether it's NBA, NHL, I assume, college sports, whatever. So they went from the wild lunatic maniac Ozzie, whom we loved.
Which was great in 04 and 05 because they needed it, because Jerry Manuel was the calm guy. He was the Robin Ventura, and that wasn't going to work, obviously, because, you can't have that. So you get Ozzie, and after a while that doesn't work, so you have to go, it's just, you just keep going back and forth from one pole to the other.
I think what's been interesting and pretty consistent about all the players all season, they've been making sure to compliment Robin without burying Ozzie. So obviously there's a huge polar change in personality, but whenever you've heard these players talk about what they like about Robin and that even-keeled component to him, and that I think it has done benefits for this team, but they've always made sure to say, not to say anything bad about the other guy. Because, I mean, the other
guy's got a ring.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing, too.
World championship
the one thing, a personality like Ventura's, I think, kind of like a Joe Torre type, that's a little more long-lasting than Ozzie. Ozzie is going to, there's a shelf life with a team with Ozzie, and you're either going to have to turn over that entire team and get new people in there who are just new to him. But if you keep that same group together like the Sox did, after a while, it gets to be kind of stale, and I think that's what happened with Ozzie, where now a guy like Ventura, he's not going to really rub people the wrong way, with his personality. So there's a longer shelf life possibility there as long as you win.
Yeah, you got Ventura and Dale Sveum, who I'm sure they're nice guys, but I'm pretty happy I'm not covering baseball these days. Yeah. And then you have your other types like Bobby V and Ozzie, who are going to say outrageous things in the media, and there's no doubt, like what Bob talked about, there's a shelf life there, and so I think if you were to construct the perfect manager, it would be a guy who never rips his players publicly, or maybe just does it once or twice a year, and then it has so much meaning.
It makes us reporters work a little bit harder, but when they're winning, I'm not going to complain. Plenty to talk about. Now, the White Sox back at home to start a 9-game homestand Friday with the Mariners, and as sizzling as they've been lately, they're hoping to get a couple extra fans out at the park. Kenny Williams told reporters Monday that a bigger crowd might help the team on the field. Here's what he said. Every day that you don't fill the seats, at least to a greater degree than we are, is a day it hurts. We've been able to find ways creatively over the years to try and add and improve the team. It's just par for the course, I guess. That's nothing that's going to stop the creative juices from flowing to try and get something done. He also said the energy in the park helps the players. So, guys, do you expect more people to come out this weekend?
Well, I think more people will come out, but I think more people are going to come out because they've won 8 in a row, not because Kenny Williams has asked them to come out. I mean, maybe he might have an effect on a few. Kenny's done this over the years. He's done this once or twice before. Quite frankly, I'm not sure if that doesn't sometimes come across as pandering a little bit too much. I mean, I know what he's trying to do, but they're going to come out because they're winning, and that's obviously what is the bottom line for any sports.
But I think it's good. I mean, David Hall had a good line. Yeah, I mean, he called it a dugout telethon. I think that's kind of clever. I mean, I like the honesty. I like the sense of, okay, we have a budget. Here's the deal. If we have an extra 5,000 to 10,000 fans a game, we're going to be able to afford better players. So fans who don't show up, you lose your right to gripe. I mean, it's sort of like if somebody emails me and says, why don't you guys cover every Big Ten football game? Why aren't you there for the Iowa State game? I say, well, all I can tell you is keep buying newspapers, support us, and when you do that, we'll have bigger sections and larger staffs. And they really can't fight that. I mean, so it's the same thing with the White Sox.
You know, the problem is that we're getting to the point, and certainly you look at the ticket prices, and, you know, that's why I never say that, you know, boy, people should really go out and support this team. They should really, because it's expensive. It's expensive
but they
to
do have dollar kid days.
You don't think it does, but on the weekends, you know, now they have the tier pricing where some series are more expensive than others, like a lot of teams are doing now. It's expensive for a family to go out to a baseball game and even to sit out in the bleachers. You know, bleacher seats at the Cell are $45 for a bleacher seat. When they opened, granted that was 1990, they were $8. You know, that's a big jump. And, you know, in these economic times, when you're talking about spending upward of over $100, $120 before you even walk into the door, you know, when you figure in parking and whatnot, that's a lot to ask for people to go out on a regular basis if you have family. Now, you know, obviously some places still do it, but, you know, again, this is not the economic time to start talking about, boy, we really need people to come out here when you're still have not yet proven yourself to be a quote-unquote legitimate contender. They're playing well, there's no doubt about it. But again, I don't think everybody's rushing now to, you know, block off some weeks in October for the World Series yet.
But the question is, are you aggravated that Kenny Williams will say that?
No,
do you
because
think that's not
Kenny,
his right to be able to
I don't like it, and I don't think that should be his role. I understand where he's coming from, and, you know, I can understand, you know, his frustration because, look, you know, he's got a budget, and I'm sure the chairman is looking at his numbers every night from the attendance, which hasn't been very good, and trying to make ends meet. So I understand where Kenny's coming from. I just, you know, I also look at it from the other standpoint, and it's expensive to go. I mean, I know I don't go as often as I used to, just because, for me, it's just too much money for me to justify it. And I'm sure there are a lot of people with children who'd like to go more, but they just can't justify it now.
Plus, you'd miss Hawks rants.
Well, there's that too, right?
The game, that's a problem.
There's that too.
All right, well, we want to hear from you. Here's our CSNChicago.com poll question of the day. Finish this statement. With the recent White Sox run, I am A, buying tickets to go to a game this homestand, B, a diehard fan, and I am always there anyway, or C, waiting to see if this hot streak is for real. To vote, visit CSNChicago.com. We'll have the results later in the show. All right, well, on the north side, the Cubs, they wrapped up their brief three-game homestand with an 8-6 come-from-behind win thanks to a two-run walk-off homer from Darwin Barney. They now head west, where they'll open up a series in San Francisco Friday. But before he gets on the plane, CSNChicago.com's Patrick Mooney joins us live from Wrigley. Patrick, albeit a little bit ugly, but a win's a win. Team that struggled so much recently. What can a W like this do for the club?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think when you look at this front office, the way they view this season, I don't think one particular game really matters. Even if it's a 12-game losing streak, a sample size like that, I think they kind of toss out the window. What they're focused on now is they got a couple of draft prospects in here, literally behind me and to my left at Wrigley Field, working them out, you know, for the draft. And really, that's kind of their entire focus right now, leading up to the June 4th draft.
Hey, Patrick, Teddy Greenstein, first of all, you are putting Sully to shame with what you're wearing, man. I don't, I mean, really, looking good.
I forgot my hoodie, you know?
Yeah, there's no doubt. Hey, we read the quotes and hear the sound bites from the Cubs clubhouse, and it seems like there's no negativity. I mean, even with all the losing, nobody's down on anybody, and they're all really good teammates. I mean, have you noticed any kind of cracks in the armor at all?
Teddy, that's kind of the funny part about these past 2 months is that you really haven't seen any signs of dissension. I think part of that is some of the people they removed from the clubhouse. I think part of it's some of the people they brought in. I think that was a specific, you know, idea that Theo and Jed had coming in here. Professional guys like David DeJesus, Paul Mahalam, Ian Stewart, they're pretty quiet. They go about their business. They don't make waves. And I think you have to credit Dale Sveum for kind of keeping the peace, you know, during this losing streak and during, you know, these tough stretches. He hasn't cracked, and I think that's why the Cubs haven't cracked on some level.
Hey, Patrick, it's Casey Johnson. Obviously, he's in the spotlight today with the walk-off homer, but how good do you think Darwin Barney can be?
Yeah, that's another great question. I think that's something they want to figure out over the next 4 months or so. He's a homegrown guy. He kind of, Ryan Sandberg, you know, helped him learn how to play second base, and he played for him on several different levels. And Darwin Barney, long before Theo Epstein got here, was talking about how awesome it would be to have a homegrown core to kind of come up together and win here. Of course, some of those guys are traded now, like his good friend Tyler Colvin and Andrew Kashner was here over on the other side. But I think he's put on some weight. He's trying to figure out how to keep on that weight. He was a gifted shortstop defender coming up. And if he can transition that way to second base and be a nice kind of tag team up the middle with Starlin Castro, he's a nice player. Everyone talks about his intangibles at Oregon State. He won a couple of College World Series titles. He's a grinder. All those cliches. And I think if he can hit enough, he could be a foundation piece here.
Patrick, it's Bob Fultman. When the front office looks at Dale Sveum and they're evaluating his performance, obviously he hasn't been dealt a great hand with from a roster standpoint, but it's still a pretty much veteran roster. How do they evaluate him? It can't be just on wins and losses, and yet they don't have a lot of kids on that roster where you're looking at development. So what are they looking at when they look at Dale and the job that he does?
Well, but here's how much they respect his kind of baseball IQ. They've had him watch some video on some of these hitters they're thinking about taking in the upcoming draft and having them break down their mechanics, their swing planes, all that stuff. And I think he's a guy, he played at this level, and you look at some of the guys in the front office, they haven't. I think they respect where he's coming from, the years he put in as a coach, and really that tone we were just talking about a couple of minutes ago, where guys are working hard. They're establishing kind of that culture that they want of preparation and attention to detail, so that when they do have the players that they want in here, they'll kind of do it the Cubs way, and that will have a lot to do with kind of Dale Sveum's vision as well.
Hey, Patrick, Ryan Dempster struggled today really for the first time. How much do you think he's been saying the right things, doing the right things, but how much do you think not getting wins early on this season is affecting him mentally?
I don't think his personal one-loss record really bothers him too much, but I think the team's performance definitely gets under his skin. He's a really good guy. He's friendly to everyone. He's got a good sense of humor, but if you talk to people that know him really well, kind of behind closed doors, he has a really competitive streak, a temper, and I think that has gotten to him. And certainly the trade talk has already heated up, even though it's only still the end of May. And Theo the other day was talking about how they're kind of talked about talking, and obviously he has full no trade rights, and he has the makeup and the numbers that I think will appeal to a contender come the end of July.
Patrick, thank you so much. You definitely classed up the show, but we're going to let you take off. But you can read your stuff on CSNChicago.com. Patrick, we'll talk to you again soon.
Take care.
All right, so guys, obviously the Cubs want to win on the field, but how important do you think the draft coming up starting on June 4th will be for this team?
Well, it's kind of like what these guys were hired for, right? This is what they live for. This is their time of year. So, I thought it was interesting that Theo addressed reporters, coming off the road trip with the long losing streak to kind of, address the baseball situation, but he made clear, look, we're not going to waver from the long-term vision, which is, it's going to be painful at times in the short term, but we're here for the long-term vision. And bottom line is, you don't know if it's going to work for a few years or not, but you got to give these people the benefit of the doubt because it's worked somewhere else.
Go ahead. It worked in Boston, and the funny thing was, it worked in Boston more when they were getting the draft picks and whatnot. Theo's biggest failures in Boston were really his free agent signings. Right, but when he, Pedroia and Ellsbury and those kind of guys that were kind of under the radar, guys that they got by letting some of their free agents go and getting the supplemental picks in the draft, that's where they really made a hay. So if you're looking at the draft, yeah, that's where I think you need to be more excited if you're a Cub fan for the future is the draft, and not so much, on the pro level of either signing free agents or whatnot, because their track record has been better in the draft than it has been signing free agents. And it's funny, a lot of GMs are that way for whatever reason.
It's interesting with the draft. I mean, for those of us who saw Moneyball or read the book, these guys, Billy Beane brought in a different style, which was statistics based. Which was don't look at the tools, look at what they've actually done. But then everybody caught up to them. Baseball caught up, so now it seems like they're maybe going back the opposite a little bit and looking looking more at defense and skills and all that raw stuff. So it is an interesting balancing act. I mean, even half the guys who get taken in the first round will not play in the major leagues. So it is a crapshoot. But like Casey said, this is their time to shine.
Yeah, a chance to make their mark. All right, plenty more to come on CTL. We'll talk NBA next. Season isn't even over, and trade rumors are swirling. Pau Gasol to the Bulls. Could it happen? We'll ask KC. And surprise, surprise, the Spurs win again. Are they a lock for the NBA title? That's next on Chicago Tribune Live.
Spice rum from Captain Morgan.
So let me get this straight. You're telling me that this car is just as reliable as a Honda Accord next door?
Well, pretty much. It has a super long warranty. That's not the same thing. Sure it is. If anything breaks, you can rely on the warranty. So it's reliable.
So it's the warranty that's reliable, not necessarily the car.
Were you this tough on the Honda dealer? I feel like you weren't.
Get an Accord with 0.9% financing for up to 60 months through May 31st. Only a Honda is a Honda.
And this is it right here. Bases loaded, 2 out. Trailing 8-6, bottom of the ninth.
I'm a big believer in hard work and focusing on the fundamentals. Not doing things the easy way when you can do them the right way. That's my approach to baseball. And that's what I hope to teach these guys.
Robin Ventura, my goodness, the man of the hour.
You can take Chicago sports with you anytime, any place with the CSN Chicago Sports app. Get team news, scores, and updates the second that they happen. Just search CSN Sports in the App Store on the iPhone or Droid to download. All right, well, the Bulls were eliminated less than 3 weeks ago, so naturally the trade rumors have begun. One person that loves trades is legendary Bulls beat writer Sam Smith. A Lakers insider told him that Pau Gasol would like to play for the Bulls and that Gasol and Kobe Bryant can't stand each other, so he wouldn't mind leaving L.A. KC, clear this up for us. What are the chances we could see him in a Bulls uniform?
I would go with trade suggestion more than trade rumor from my mentor and colleague and friend Sam Smith. I would think it'd be a long shot for the Bulls to land Pau Gasol, particularly for the trade that Sam suggested, which would be Luol Deng and Richard Hamilton, was one of the many possibilities that Sam threw out. I think you'd get a little bit older there and a little bit more expensive. Powell's due to make $19 million next year. Richard's obviously a expiring contract, which can be valuable during the season. And Deng, you know, to me, the Bulls are strong up front. And they're weak on the perimeter, so I don't see why you would trade perimeter for big man. Unless, now, if you're talking Carlos Boozer for Pau Gasol, that's a trade I would do. But the Lakers have zero interest.
And you're saying this is more just Sam Smith saying
I'm not
this
saying,
is a scenario.
Yeah, everyone who read the column, that's what it was. It was Sam saying. Now, the thing that created the buzz was him saying Lakers insiders say that Pau wants to play for the Bulls. That actually didn't surprise me much because if you guys remember on the trade deadline, 2 stories leaked out where Pau, you know, was trying to get to the Bulls because they share the same agent, Pau and Derrick Rose. And so I can see that maybe this camp was trying to get that word out. Now, Pau came out yesterday himself and said, not only do I want to remain a Laker, but I don't have any desire to play for the Bulls. So
plus, Pau and Kobe co-own a horse together, so
but they don't like each other.
Yeah,
now, that part was pretty clear. Did you see the playoffs? There's a lot of
Kobe didn't like anybody on the Lakers by the end of that.
You think that's on the court and off the court, or you
I don't know about that. I just know that there was a lot of frustration from Kobe's end on the court.
I mean, Thibodeau loves Deng, does he not? I mean, what trade would there be where he'd say, okay, fine, give up Deng? Tibbs loves him.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, seriously. I mean, how hard would it be to pry Deng loose from that team?
Well, you know, Thibodeau's not making the decisions, obviously.
Well, you think they do something without him that he would feel really badly about?
I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. I do know that, you know, general managers general manage and coaches coach. So, again, I just don't see how you trade a perimeter player for a big man when, to me, one of this Bulls team's strengths is their big men. They've got 4 solid bigs. Now, again, if you can upgrade Boozer for Gasol, do it in a heartbeat. But to trade a perimeter guy for an interior guy where you're already strong, and you're going to be weak on the perimeter next year anyway with Derek missing most of the year. So I just don't see how this
If you're
makes
using
sense.
Deng as a trading piece, how much does
Deng and Hamilton, then you're real. I mean, who's playing wing for you? I mean,
how much does the injury though play into that if you're talking to other teams?
I think that also is going to be a factor. Yeah. So I'd be shocked if Deng is moved this summer.
Tibbs' contract up at the end of next year, so do you think that affects how much they're letting him have an impact and who he wants to stay or go?
No, I get the sense that, you know, I think that those guys talk every day, but I think in, like, the Bulls, like most franchises, work under the assumption that, you know, Tibbs coaches the personnel the management gives them.
Casey, do you think the Bulls are putting any heat on Luol not to play in the Olympics?
Yes.
They really are?
I mean, not heat, but they made it clear. I've written this. They've made it absolutely clear. We want you healthy for the start of training camp. So
how can they justify that position? I mean,
because they're paying him a lot of money
a year. It's bargained in. I mean, the rule is he's allowed to play for the Olympics. He feels he owes everything to
Let me make this really clear, because I actually rarely have strong opinions about sports, but I have a strong opinion about this. Deng absolutely 1,000% should play in the Olympics and has earned the right to play in the Olympics. And it absolutely is. No one can understand what that country did for his family except Luol Deng. So let me just make that clear. That said, I completely understand the Bulls' position. They're paying him $13 million, and then he might have to have surgery to miss 2 or 3 months.
You're playing both sides of the fence, man.
No, I'm just saying.
I mean, it's.
I'm saying I support Deng, and I think that he should play in the Olympics.
Well, then why don't they realize what you realize?
Because they're not. I'm not. That's the thing.
He's not writing the checks.
Check.
Yeah, I understand the Bulls' position completely. I mean, they are his employer. You know, the British Basketball Association is not paying Luol Deng to play for them. This is a personal decision on Luol's part, and justified or not, you know, you can debate whether it's a justifiable decision, but from the Bulls' standpoint, it's the same issue that the NHL faces when they shut their season down and let their players go and play in the Olympics and risk these guys getting injured or whatnot. They're paying their salaries. I mean, that the obligation should be to the people that are writing your checks. I understand Luol's point, no question about it, but I certainly understand the Bulls' point, and that's why I think that this whole idea of NBA players, NHL players playing in the Olympics is just a bad idea, and all it does is just invite
That's a separate
problems.
issue, but
it's a separate issue.
If you're allowed and you know that Luol wants to do this and is determined to do it, then why even give him crap for it or whatever they're doing? You want a disgruntled player? What's the point?
I don't think they're giving him. They're not. Again, I wasn't in the room for the meeting. I'm not saying. I don't think they were like yelling at him like, "You cannot do that." That's not. I'm just saying that they made it absolutely clear, like, we want you healthy for the start of training camp. We're paying you $13 million a year next year, and in a year we're already going to be without Derrick Rose.
And he put off having surgery that he could have had earlier in the year, right? That would have had him back by the playoffs, or would he have been out by the playoffs?
The injury was January 21st, so you're talking about a 3 to 4 month recovery from then. So it would have been, he would have missed the rest of the regular season. He would have been working his way into shape.
Yeah, for the playoffs.
You said if he has, does he have to have surgery?
That's still undetermined. That's still undetermined, and that's one thing that the Bulls have talked about with Deng and his camp is like, is there a way we can do? I mean, Kobe had this injury. Now it's not the exact injury, but it was a torn ligament in his wrist and never had surgery.
Is it an injury that can get worse, or is it as bad as it's going to be?
Yeah, it's just a pain tolerance thing. So the ligament's torn. And
so it's not like playing in the Olympics would make it worse.
No. I mean, the ligament's torn. That's why he kept playing with it from January 21st on. I mean, the ligament's torn. Now, the way that you can sometimes avoid surgery is enough scar tissue builds on, so maybe something you can address at the end of your season. That's the hope that maybe Deng and the Bulls are holding on, because it's clear he's going to play in the Olympics. If he gets the insurance taken care of, which is going to be pricey. But
is he going to have to pay for that himself?
No, British Basketball Federation. You would think that maybe he'd be able to find that in his couch cushion.
You would think. You would think.
Casey, we need you to have surgery to get back on the court.
No, I'm done.
I'm not sure. All right, well, if you want to teach your kids how to play basketball, then you could have just had them watch last night's Spurs win over the Thunder. San Antonio was on fire. They passed the ball like it was a scene out of Hoosiers. In the end, the Spurs won 120-111 to take a 2-0 series lead. They have now won 20 20 in a row. Guys, are they the best team in the NBA?
We're going to find out. I was still, I'm going to take the Heat to win it all. I think Miami had its scare against Indiana, Game 3. Learned how to win without Bosh. I think Bosh would be back for the finals. So, yeah, I think LeBron's too good to keep choking in the fourth quarter.
I think they're playing, the Spurs are playing chess and everybody else is playing checkers. I mean, they are just so in tune with each other and what they do, and they've been around together for so long that everything just flows so easily for them that other teams just, you know, even if you execute well, I don't think you execute well enough to stop everything that they can do. And, you know, they've got the best coach in the league. And I think it's showing in this series, and I definitely think it's going to show in the next series. You know, I think Boston, I'm kind of hoping for a Celtics-Spurs final just because we can see, like, all these people retire at the end of the series because you got so many potential guys playing in their final series. But I think you'd have two teams that really know how to play basketball. And I think it'd be a very good, from a purist standpoint, a very good series. I don't think the Celtics are going to beat the Heat, though, but I think, you know, then you get into just a pure athletic, you know, superior athleticism against just a great team, and that's going to be a good matchup in itself. But I like the Spurs against whoever wins the East.
Are the Thunder making it tough enough, though? On the Are the Spurs that good?
No, this series will get competitive, but the Spurs are going to win the series, so it's going to be Spurs Heat in my view. So I think that'll be a fantastic series too, depending on if Bosh comes back.
What do you think it would take for the Heat to beat the Spurs?
Bosh to come back.
That's it. That's the X factor.
Well, I think that would obviously help a lot. Yeah, that third guy. But yeah, if you're asking your original question, who are the Spurs the best team in the NBA right now? There's no question. First of all, they tied the Bulls for the best regular season record, and they've won 20 straight games, so they're the best team in the NBA right now. That said, Spurs Heat would be a fantastic series, especially if Bosh comes back.
What about Tony Parker? He made a comment. He was talking about something that he said that he's still trying to kind of feel his way of being a scorer and a passer. He said something about, you know, Popovich has at times told him score more, pass more.
Looks pretty good to me.
What do you think? Do you think that's something, though, that he even at this point needs to think about, or do you think it's just a matter of him playing his game and feeling out?
Well, they have made a shift. I mean, you know, they've become more of a running gun type team. That's why I actually kind of dispute your athleticism thing. I think the Spurs are incredibly athletic. They run up.
Not to the standpoint of a Wade and James.
Not to the degree of Wade and James. Nobody is. Right. But the Spurs are a very athletic team now. They get up and run. They're more of an offensive team than a defensive team now. So Parker, you know, he's made that transition from being a little bit more of a facilitator to more of a scorer. But you can put his point guard year on par with anybody this year. I mean, Chris Paul maybe, but I'd put Tony first.
And, I mean, Tim Duncan's turned the clock back to, you know, 10 years ago with his playoff. I mean, he's just been incredible. I think a lot of people were, towards the end of the year when he was looking kind of shaky, were ready to kind of write him off, but he has really turned it on in the playoffs.
NBA draft lottery is tonight. Do you believe in conspiracy theories? And if you do, will the Brooklyn Nets win the lottery?
Let's ask our guy Brandon Faber, who was in the sealed room for the Derrick Rose draft lottery.
Can we get him on the phone?
I actually was at a draft lottery once. They allowed, so I've had the Brandon Faber experience. I can tell you they are not rigged because I was not even allowed to go to the bathroom without a security guard.
Really?
How can I make
You think they're worried about you rigging this thing? Come on.
No, I was in the field. They allowed 3 reporters to come.
How'd you get chosen for that?
Because the Bulls were there every year. It was during the Tim Floyd era.
Familiarity.
And they for transparency purposes allowed 3 reporters to sit in the sealed room and see how the process works, and it was the most mind-numbingly boring experience.
Were you able to touch the envelopes?
Right, exactly. The Patrick Ewing frosty
ping pong balls. They switched to ping pong.
Right, because the Ewing one was rigged.
Were you able to hold the ping pong balls?
No, I was not.
To know whether or not 8 of them were filled with sand and 1 of them wasn't?
Okay. Bob's in with the conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy.
Don't ask him who shot JFK.
The SEC has owned the BCS since the turn of the century, so of course they have some ideas about how a college football playoff should be run. Are they right? We'll get Teddy's thoughts next on Chicago Tribune Live.